On March 26, 2003, the 173rd Airborne Brigade jumped into northern Iraq and quickly moved down to the city of Kirkuk. The poverty-stricken villages and violence became a way of life for over 2,000 soldiers from the brigade. For the next year, we lived among the people of Iraq, and to us, it was home. A home that looked like what almost any border town in America might have looked like in the 19th century. The lines between warrior and humanitarian were blurred, trying to rebuild cities that had been rocked by extreme violence and ruled by sadistic terrorists for over 30 years, all the while trying to keep each other alive. This is the reality of an American soldier in Iraq, and for those of us that were there, we can never forget it. These are our words, our experiences, our stories.
That's when all hell broke out.
Failure was just not something I ever considered.
And next thing I know, I'm waking up and I'm in the middle of the road.
Well, I mean, an RPG hit the wall, a 107 flew over the roof, and then the buildings are just getting peppered.
Damn right we got the best country.
The Iraqi people are actually great people.
This isn't a training center. We're not playing. This is for real.
It seems like it went by in a blink of an eye.
On a daily basis, they were teaching Democracy 101.
The biggest problem that Iraqis have, taking care of their community and their country.
Roger.
This way. Hey, we got to get to this casualty.
You know, the enemy, just like our force, it takes some time to understand how we operate. And I don't really know what was happening through April, May, June, July, where it was kind of quiet. But I think they were kind of developing some sort of framework and to understand our patterns a little bit more, to organize themselves, to figure out what they wanted to do. And then they start hitting us.
Roger, great. 1575. 15.
They don't care where they shoot their weapons. They don't care where their RPGs or their mortars impact. They do not have the same respect for human life that the U.S. soldiers do.
The market side or the river side, over?
North side going south, first arm. North side going south, market side, over.
We heard gunshots up on top of the hill. Pretty good little firefight. So in a blink of an eye, my commander's gone. He's on the street and he's running up a hill. There's about 3 guys with him. So I grabbed my radio and I follow him, and kind of ran into a little firefight between two factions, 2 racial groups.
What it could do is get some place to get down there. That's what I tried to do. You know, this place is bringing a litter.
Yeah, I know, but right now I need to.
Hey, we got a rigid litter over there.
It's tough when you have been shot at by one of the terrorists to not direct that towards the other people in that village. But once again, our soldiers' ability to do that really brought us great effects.
People weren't proactive, they were reactive. You weren't pulling them back, you had to push them forward. So they were used to that thing. They were used to them ways for the last 30 years. And you know, they got to understand that hard work equates to something, whether it's more money, whether it's a better job, a better living, or a better house.
What's the name of the guy we're looking for?
There is no name. He's a thief with a rifle. If he doesn't belong there, you'll know it.
ID cop.
There's many people there that just don't seem to value the life of themselves or their brothers, sisters, countrymen as much as some people from other parts of the world. I'm not saying all of them, but that was sometimes disturbing.
Campbell.
Hey,
You search that and you over here.
You have the power there to kind of do anything you want to do. And you had to have the restraint and discipline not to overdo it. And I was very proud of our soldiers because they did have the restraint and discipline. But we said we're going to take the weapons away from them. We told them to give us the weapons, and they gave them up freely for the most part.
The explosives were taken out of it, and these guys are trying to tell us right now it's a vase for flowers. So I think it might be a little bit worse than I first thought. Over.
These guys know who we're looking for, right? The guy who we're looking for. So we're going to interview them one by one. One by one.
By being out in the smaller towns and villages, gave the people the confidence to take action against, to give us the information we needed so we could go out and conduct the raids to detain or kill those terrorists. So I think it was very important that we were able to get out among the people.
Ah, look at this.
It's got every medical supply.
Medical treatment room here. You have a doctor that runs this?
Come on, let's go. Hey! Come here!
Hey, Shady, tell him that if he doesn't tell us his real name, we're going to give him an orange jumpsuit.
You can buy it at your local Walmart here in Iraq. Going for $9.99.
They have a long ways to go to, they're not going to have American-style democracy. They can't fathom it yet. Freedom is not, and one of the early things that I encountered is, people have demonstrations and they would turn violent, and you'd be there and people would start getting shot. I think they think that's part of democracy. You can have a demonstration and you can burn a car, you can shoot at somebody. That's not democracy now.
A lot of times it felt like you take one step forward and get knocked back the next day, and the same building that you helped repair just got bombed out, or a police station that you sunk a lot of effort into just had a couple RPGs fired at and took out a wall. So I think that's another testament to the will of not only the American soldiers that were in Kirkuk, but also a lot of the Iraqi people that wanted to rebuild their city.
I'm going to send Jalal back there. Steve, would you take him? Take Jalal back there and get that turbo and bring him back up here.
While we're not MPs and we're not law enforcers, we did know that there were some parallels between a public security force and a military force. So we related a lot of things we did to them. They had to get organized, they had to get weapons, they had to get armed, they had to get ammunition, they had to have a task organization, just like a military force would be.
Hey, American coming up!
We got some extended range.
See?
So this is what he was shooting from.
Put the light on it.
The shots from here.
I think
this shows them.
This one. Don't give a shit. Get out, put your hands up. Get out, put your hands up. Get out and put your hands up. Put it right there.
المخالفة لا ولا تنكر. لا المخالفة
Rally car.
How to reconstruct a damn country, I don't know how to do that. Something that we don't do every day, so it takes time to understand how that process is gonna work out.
Hey, snag him up!
It just really was impressive, just the extremely broad range that NCOs and soldiers and officers were doing. None of us were trained to set up police stations, and we were the ones that had to come up with a plan, and we did, and made it work.
Well, that's what these guys are here for. This is what the police is for. Hey, this is what these guys are for, to make sure this is safe. You understand? Ain't nobody gonna kill you here.
98% of them are wonderful people, and the 2% of them, you wouldn't fit in anywhere.
They would, at 4 o'clock in the morning, be conducting a raid to kill or capture a terrorist. And later that night, they're conducting another raid with the police to once again find terrorists or extremists.
Huh? Yeah. More shit. Paper. Flush it out. Shit's deep. This is fading. All black.
You had questions from some of the Iraqis. They were suspicious. Why are you here? Why would you come miles away just to help us? That doesn't make sense. And I think there's a lot of good going on that is not always reported by the media. It's just one-on-one, soldiers with Iraqi people. And they would see compassion and love and humor and, on the part of American soldiers. And I don't know that they always see that.
There, guys, we're going to check out the bathroom lighting real quick while we're here.
We took about 5 truckloads of mortars, ammunition, air defense rounds out of the school. A little girl actually got blown up in the alleyway trying to bring us a round that she'd found.
The past 4 years they've had nothing in the school: water, heat, electricity. So we chose to give something back to the community by helping out one of our workers that is helping us out, the Americans, try to restore peace and order within the community.
I don't remember anything because I got a concussion. The last thing I remember was, one of the lenses out of one of my goggles falling off. And next thing I know, I'm waking up and I'm in the middle of the road. I can't see anything because my glasses flew off and everything was white from me hitting my head. I was just like, what's going on? And in my whole body feels like it's been ran over by something. And I look up a little bit and I see the truck and flames down there. Wow, I thought I fell asleep and I was having a dream. And then, I don't know, my body, I just felt it starting to convulse, I went into shock. I kept fading in and out of consciousness. One of the people that were in the convoy saw me flying out of the gun turret through his side view mirror. So I got this Hollywood picture, just flying over the air. I got scars all over my body from hitting the road. I have about 7 pieces of shrapnel in my leg and nerve damage to my foot.
It's kind of hard to talk about, actually. We were driving down the road in a 2-truck convoy, and out of nowhere, there was a great white flash, knocked my truck around a little bit. I turned into it, and that's when basically all hell broke out. Fire from everywhere, they shooting RPGs. Everybody got out of the truck. The colonel started firing his weapon. Then I went back behind the truck, and that's when I seen the colonel get shot in the leg. It's just hard to think that I was that close to dying. It's just someone's watching out for me.
We were sent to go clear this field.
On the way out to that field, we got ambushed. And as soon as we came across the bridges, they opened up on us. I'm halfway leaning out my door because all the firing's coming from the passenger side, so I'm just trying to stay as low as I can. Next thing I know, I'm being thrown out of the vehicle. The radio came out with me, my weapon came out with me. My left ankle got caught in the door. I was dragged for about 20-25 meters. The vehicle hit that berm where the road went up over, further down. My ankle came free, but before I could roll away, the Humvee rolled back and onto my arm. And then everything was just really quiet after that. I mean, I had 4 people in the truck, 3 others besides me. Didn't hear no screaming, didn't hear anyone yelling, no one talking, nothing. I saw Lieutenant Bernstein coming around the back of the truck, and he climbed in the driver's seat of the truck and hit the gas and moved it off my arm. And then pretty much fell out of the truck. I asked him if he was hit. He told me his leg. Started patting up his leg. Started first aid on him. So I get up, and I was walking to the back of the truck, and I pretty much stood up, took a step, and I fell. And right there, I knew I broke my ankle. Got back there, checked the vitals on Private Hart, which he was already dead. Pretty much took a run through the neck. Well, I went back to work on Lieutenant Bernstein, our XO. And I kneeled down beside him, and my pant legs just became soaked in blood. So I knew it was like really bad. I gave my report to my PL about 1 KIA, 1 wounded, and I was injured too. He gave us his knife, cut the sling off M4 as he ran back to the CO to call up a report for medevac. Then I made a tourniquet out of a fuel nozzle and a M4 sling. Sat there, tried to keep him conscious. He went unconscious, kept my hand on his neck, feeling for a pulse. As soon as we lost the pulse, we started CPR. It was about 4 hours later I found out that he was pronounced dead.
You know, you do your normal daily job and you're hoping this doesn't happen, you're praying it doesn't happen. But you know it could happen at any minute, and when it does, it just totally takes the wind out of your sails, you know. Just life stops at that minute.
Pissed off, yeah. Angry, get angry. You sad for the family, yep. As a parent, I can really feel and empathize with their family and what it must mean to lose a son at such an early stage in their life.
It is a very difficult thing to just resolve in your mind that, you know, you come back with a few less guys that you went there with.
The people, they come in and out of your lives, you know, and I think the best way to remember them is to apply some of the qualities that those people possess to your own life.
We're here to honor them, we're here to remember them, and then we're here to drive on with the mission, you know, to refocus and drive on with the mission. That's what they would want, that's what the families would want. They'd want us to get the job done and come home, and to know that their sacrifice was worth it.
I do believe they're grateful that the coalition went in.
I think they understand that long term the United States is there for their betterment and for the good of the nation.
If you're a person that lives in the United States right now, just get the opportunity to drive down the road just once in one of these Iraqi cities, just once, and see the goodness that the American forces, their presence there, the goodness behind it, and how the reactions of the Iraqis are.
The ones who value the freedom most, you can see it in their eyes. They really appreciate the sacrifice that soldiers made to bring them freedom.